One of the most important things I've learned about my writing process is to be very selective with who I share my very sacred creative space with. So I wanted to give you some ideas on how I've decided this over the years because it's already week 9 of Let's Make a Book Baby, where I am taking you from the very beginning of starting to write this book until I publish it. This week, I feel like I had already started to burn out, so I did a lot more reflection than writing, and some of that included bouncing ideas off of people who I allow into that sacred space. But even then, I've noticed that I have set a lot clearer boundaries now to where I'm able to do that in a way that it's easier for me to recognize if this is going to put me in a bad place creatively. So just to catch you up with what we've been working on so far the past 9 weeks, I am writing a steamy werewolf romance. It is an Omegaverse book, so the two main characters are both Omegas. Ari is a trans guy, Marcus is a cis guy, but he's also gender fluid in terms of his wolf gender, so like he is most of the time an Omega, but sometimes he's an Alpha, sometimes he's a Beta. I'm very excited about this book, but that doesn't change the fact that I am tired. I'm trying to do multiple jobs at once, which is kind of normal for indie authors, especially if you're still starting out kind of like I am. Like I had done webcomics and then I transitioned to books, and it's almost like I feel like I had to restart my career. So I have to kind of upkeep with other different jobs, but I happened to be doing 4, if not 5 or 6 jobs at once throughout December and the beginning of January. And so I'm having to recover now, even though I still want to be writing this book and need to be writing this book. So this process I think is very different because I am taking you along with me through the journey. So I wanted to share some of the boundaries I already had in place, because I think if I didn't do that, it would be even harder to share the process with you. Basically because when you're in the writing period, it's not the critique period. In fact, I feel like that almost makes your writing really stale and just overall sucks some of the emotion out of it. And I feel like that is a crucial error because that's what readers connect with the most within the book is emotion. I think that's why I've been so surprised this time that in sharing more of this process with you, I feel like I haven't had some of that feedback that I think would set me on a not so great path mentally. While writing, it's really easy to remember every single negative thing you've heard about yourself. Like there's that inner negative critic that you kind of have to push down for a bit and just be like, no, go sit in timeout while you're still writing. Because some people very much just want to tear you down. Like they don't care about your story the way that you do. They don't understand your message. Like oftentimes it just wasn't meant for them, and your advertising could be shifted to get to the readers who it is meant for. That's usually the sign of what bad reviews are. And of course, authors, I don't recommend ever read their reviews. You can have an editor or your agent or something look at reviews and then filter that through a professional lens to give you feedback, because by the time the book is published, it's already gone through so many people's eyes. That's not the critique period anymore. It's for readers to assess if they want to read it based on what other readers thought. And sometimes someone's negative review can be someone's, wow, this is exactly why I want to read this book. It's just not worth it to adjust your message in order to please everyone, because you can't. And that's something that I really struggle with and have struggled with for a long time. So I've tried to keep myself out of that mindset while writing this book, but at the same time I do write with those things in mind, of things that I feel like, okay, through all my professional lens of talking with my editor or my own editing that I do, because I edit my books like a lot, a hardcore edit my books. I am just hyper aware of the mistakes that I have in my writing is sometimes I feel like that is a delicate balance, because I don't know if that's someone's favorite part of my writing. I don't want to take anything out unless it has gone through that careful consideration. When I'm saying that some people will tear you down, the important part to remember is that others will lift you up. So personal boundary of mine is that either I don't share the process of my book until I'm at least halfway through, or if I am feeling more steady in my people-pleasing concerns, then I will only share it with a few trusted people who are very close to me, who are going to uplift me and my work. And this is about things that I haven't already set in stone within the book, or at least have a good feeling about. Like, I can come on here on YouTube or social media and be like, hey, these are my ideas, I'm super excited about it. Those are the ideas that I already feel like a good feeling about. But if there's something that I'm kind of uncertain about, I can tell you I'm uncertain and then I'm solving it, but I'm not going to come and ask you for advice unless you're a very specific person. And that has nothing to do with if I trust your opinion or not. It's more of just I need to protect this sacred circle of creativity, because if I accidentally talk to someone who isn't respectful of that, then it could actually damage the best parts of my book. And I'm very cognizant of that now after these 10, 11 years that I've been posting stuff online. This past week, I decided to talk to a couple different people. I talked to my mom and I just basically told her my ideas. And by telling her my ideas out loud, I was like, wait, I've just resolved something. Like, I put all the puzzle pieces together. So she's like, cool, go write them down. And I was like, okay. She doesn't talk like that. That's me paraphrasing. I also talked to another friend of mine who is an artist, and a third friend of mine who is another artist. So they're different types of artists, and I think that's kind of cool because people's different perspectives on things will play into what you're working on, and people will know things that you don't. So one of my friends was like, hey, have you heard of this movie? And like, we were just talking about the possible future of, with Ari and Marcus's story, it's set 27 years in the future after the previous series his parents' love story is featured in. And while you don't need to read the previous book, I still feel like it should be stable in terms of the timeline. And so that means I have to change all the technology, and I've been really stressed about that. And I haven't talked to you all about it yet because it's so still abstract in my mind that there wasn't anything to tell you about. So I was talking to my friend and they were like, oh, like, have you heard about this book? It's reminding me of how certain paranormal creatures come up during certain times of unrest in the world. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. And it was helping me guide my brain towards a path without my friend being like, no, you shouldn't write this, because that's not the type of person that they are. And I knew that that wasn't the type of person that they are. And then with my other friend, I was talking to them about like some of the silly story ideas that I was like, I don't know, like, would this be entertaining? Because I know that they like this type of book. And so they could be like, oh my God, I'm so excited about that. And that type of thing isn't like used as reassurance. It's more of like, okay, this is good. Like, someone else is also excited about that. Like, you can share in the excitement. And we're talking about how Ari and Marcus are going to have some spicy shenanigans, and like, I'm changing their only one bed trope into them deciding to only have one bed and just being like, you know what, we made a conscious choice. And so stuff like that I think is funny to talk with another reader about that loves those genres that you do. That is something that is going to be beneficial overall, because I can reorient my brain to be in less of that negative, unhelpful critic in my mind to the actual authentic emotion that I want to share in the book. So if anyone's curious on how to set their own boundaries, like, we all have different boundaries around this, and it's okay to figure them out over time. We all will like make mistakes and be like, ooh, I really shouldn't have listened to that person who totally deterred me from something that would have been amazing. Usually how I tell is if people are giving you some type of criticism without you asking for it. And just in general, I would set a boundary with yourself not to ask for something that you don't want the answer to right now. And if you can't figure it out yourself and you're just really stuck and you feel like someone is a person in your life that wants to be encouraging in general, then sure, go talk to that person. But otherwise, I think that unless there's that feeling of brainstorming, it's not the critique period. Once you've all got it all written down, that's the time to like go back and edit. And that's what I'm really feeling like right now with this book. I also have to monitor my social media use. Part of that is that we're living in a time where there's all these really chaotic, horrible injustices happening, including but not limited to horrific like genocides that you're watching live and like even in person, like then like trans people. I'm a trans author. The International Society of Genocides, I'm forgetting their official name, but they finally were like, oh yeah, you guys are experiencing one. It's like, we've been saying that. So like meanwhile, I'm just trying to write about my silly werewolves. It's like what it ends up feeling really silly. Like I end up feeling like, is this pointless? Am I not contributing to the world enough? But then at the same time, there's all these people who are like, I read your book and it impacted me personally, and who knows how many people it could help by publishing this next book, regardless of if it's silly or not. Like that doesn't matter. What matters is the connection. And I just feel like I have to be careful not to dig myself into a hole, because all of these situations happening in the world, I've luckily kept up with and kept myself well educated on. So it's not new information when I'm doom scrolling. It's more of just like, oh good, like people are agreeing with me. But if I'm in this creative space and trying to write, that sucks the soul out of me to where I don't have creative energy left anymore, and that is directly harmful to my job. So I'm kind of in this weird place where I'm like, okay, I want to be an advocate for these things, but how do I manage that between writing? Because if the most important thing that I can do is continuing to give stories to people where they can feel heard and feel more inspired to speak up for themselves, that's like crucial. Like I need to cherish that and hold that sacred space for my book. So that is where I'm at this week. I know this is kind of a weird mix of topics, but I think that some of you might be able to relate. And honestly, I've been so amazed by how many people have been able to relate. And when people have given me feedback without me asking for it, I feel like so far this community has been very welcoming and kind about it. So I'm really, really appreciative of that. I feel like my expectations weren't high enough. So I am grateful for you, and I'm really impressed by how much compassion people actually have. You're changing my mind in a good way about the internet right now. So I hope that you're taking good care of yourself, and I will see you very soon for the next video. I'm going to try to be more on time for our Tuesday weekly check-ins. But this week, I just really had to write yesterday, which was Tuesday, and get some thoughts down. So I'm very excited to share them with you next week. I think it's finally moving in more of a good direction now that I talk to encouraging people around me. I hope that you are safe and keeping your loved ones close. We only have a short time here, so definitely spend it how you feel like matters most to you, that contributes to your values and what you love most in this world. So take care. I will see you again very soon. Goodbye for now. Oh no. Wait, I have to stop doing that. I forgot again.